6th grade. I've missed you guys this week. Hope that you guys have found the assignments fairly easy. Hoping and praying that these videos are helping you understand your lessons and knowing what you're supposed to be doing. Hopefully you guys are getting into a groove so you don't need mom and dad to do so much for you. That's the goal of this. You guys should be able to watch my lessons and do your work, and then just ask questions if mom and dad are around so that you can get help, or whoever's helping you with your homework for that matter. I am going to be uploading videos for Monday, Tuesday again, as well as Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You will not have any quizzes or tests uploaded on Sycamore this week. Everything will be done in your book. However, the following week, before spring break, we will have a test to sum up this chapter on adjectives. So that is coming. We will have review work towards the end of this week for you to complete for that. So we're going to continue with adjectives. We talked about how to diagram them last week, talked about what they were, and we're going to kind of dive a little deeper into adjectives. Adjectives compare, or they can. When we say adjectives compare, we are normally talking about when we're comparing things, right? And things are nouns. We know that. We can say, I am strong, right? We can say, we can add an ER to the end of the word strong when I'm comparing me with somebody else. I am stronger than you, me and you. Okay, this only compares two things, so I am strong is just me. Well, I am stronger is when I'm comparing me and someone else, or two things. And when I'm comparing more than two, well, let me spell that correctly. We add EST when we're comparing more than two. Now, we can apply this to lots of different adjectives. We could say beautiful, right? What I want you to know is there are some adjectives that follow this pattern, strong, stronger, strongest, but the adjective beautiful does not. We would not say, I am beautifuler than you. That is silly. So some adjectives are irregular, and we would add, I am more beautiful. This is correct speech. Instead of adding the ER when we are comparing two, we're going to add more to some adjectives. And you guessed it, we are not going to add EST to these irregular adjectives. Let me get this in. When we compare more than two things with adjectives, we're going to say most. So, regular adjectives follow this pattern. We add an ER when we're comparing two and an EST when we're comparing more than two. Irregular adjectives, like beautiful, we're going to add more when we're comparing two before the adjective, and most when we're comparing more than two. Okay? Let me give you this is called the positive form. You need to know these. This is called the comparative form. And this is called the superlative form. Okay, so if your book asks you for the adjective in positive form, they're just asking for the adjective. If they ask you for comparative form, you know you're comparing two things, and they're either asking for regular adjectives for you to add an ER, or for irregular adjectives for you to add more before the adjective. And if they ask you for superlative form, this is comparing more than two things. For regular adjectives, they're going to ask for EST, and irregular adjectives, they're going to ask for most. Now, that is the lesson on page 207. You should have your book if you don't already. On page 208 is a little bit of practice with that. Same thing with 209. On page 209, they give you a chart with some common adjectives and what they look like in the superlative form. These are your irregular adjectives. Some irregular adjectives we don't just add more or most to. Some of them change forms altogether. So let's talk about some of those and what they look like. Let's talk about this adjective. I am good today. Okay? I am good today, but yesterday I was even better than I was today. Did you hear that? Comparing those two things, good changes to better. And of all the days this week, I was the best. There's another irregular adjective. And this time, I didn't add more or most. This time, my word changed completely. Okay? So on page 209 is a list of those adjectives that are all irregular and they all change forms. Be a good idea to get used to and familiar with some of those. And then there's some exercises below that for you to practice with. And then on page 210, you're going to avoid double comparisons, okay? What does that mean? Look at this blue box on page 210. One of the examples, why I couldn't think of that word, I don't know. One of the examples is our new house is more smaller than our old house, okay? Notice in this sentence, they used more and they used smaller with an ER, okay? This is called a double comparison, and it's like a double negative. We've talked about that before, and you've learned about that before. You don't use a double comparison or a double negative ever in a sentence, okay? So you only need one. You could either say more small or smaller, and you need to know which one is appropriate. For that adjective small, that's the one they used in your book. There it is. We would not say more small. It is correct to say smaller or smallest. Some words in our English language you're already used to saying, so you should be able to just kind of read that sentence and know which one sounds best in your mind. But there are some that are going to surprise you, that you're just going to have to memorize which one's correct, and they will be listed in your book. You'll see those in some places. So you're going to finish that page on page 210 with Think A. You're going to finish those exercises, and then you're also going to finish page 211. It's going to be a little bit more practice. It says that you're going to follow these sentences containing errors with the use of adjectives. You're going to cross out any of the incorrect words and make a correction where it's necessary. So you're going to read through those and try to make some corrections for those. Good luck. I'm praying for each of you guys through your journey at home, and praying that you guys are all staying safe. I thank the Lord for the emails that I'm getting from your parents, knowing that you guys are keeping up with your stuff, and just watching you guys continue on with your schoolwork is such a blessing to me, and I know that it is to some of the other teachers out there. We miss having you guys in class. So good luck with your work with adjectives, and I will see you guys again later on in the week.